target, you will use the lead computing optical sight, also called the funnel. Simply put, with a wingspan entered, you will fly your Hornet to place the wingtips of the target's aircraft just touching the sides of the funnel. When they are, you have a good firing solution to hit the target. To enter the correct target wingspan, press the UFC push button. Our target aircraft will be a MiG-29 with a wingspan of approximately 37 feet. The top option select window is marked WSPN for wingspan. Press the option select button to the left. This will allow us to enter a target wingspan. On the UFC keypad, type in 37 and then press enter on the UFC keypad. Press spacebar when done. With that done, you will now note that the WSPN or wingspan indication in the top right portion of the AA gun format page displays 037 to the right. Now let's take a look at the HUD. Currently, you are in the gun auto acquisition mode. This is indicated by the large dashed circle on the HUD. Also note that the selected weapon, gun, indicated near the bottom center of the HUD, and the number of rounds remaining below it. To lock up a target, simply fly to place your target within 5 miles inside the dashed circle. Until you have a target locked though, you can use the gun funnel. In addition to the gun auto acquisition mode, you also have the bore sight BST, vertical VACQ, and wide WACQ air combat maneuvering ACM modes. But we will talk about those in a separate lesson. When you are ready, press spacebar and I will unpause the lesson. Ahead of you are 2 drone MiG-29s. Place them within the dashed circle on the HUD to lock one of them up. Upon doing so, you now have some new information on the HUD for a locked target. You have your VC closure, velocity and target range below it on the right side of the HUD. The locked target has a target designation box or diamond around it, and an aiming reticle with a pipper in the center. Along the outside of the aiming reticle is a line that indicates maximum gun range. Fly to place the pipper in the center of the aiming reticle over the target and pull the trigger when the target is within range. When the pipper is over the target and within range, a shoot cue will appear over the target. To unlock the target, press the undesignated button on your stick, or press it. Good job! Now splash the second drone. Splash 2. Great job using the AA gun. This is a great weapon in close and when Winchester on missiles. Press escape to end the lesson.
Altitude. Altitude.
In this lesson, we'll learn about how to use the AIM-9L and M versions of the venerable Sidewinder short-range infrared guided air-to-air missile. Using a cooled infrared seeker, the Sidewinder locks onto the hot elements of a target, most often the engines. Best used in close-range dogfights, the Sidewinder is a fire and forget after launch. However, the Sidewinder can be decoyed by flares and is less effective against ground clutter. Today we're looking at the L and M versions. The AIM-9L, or Lima, entered production in 1977 and was the first all-aspect homing Sidewinder, meaning it could get a lock on a target at any aspect angle. However, a rear aspect provides much better detection. The Mike, or AIM-9M, is an improved version of the Lima with better flare rejection and a reduced smoke motor. In a later lesson, we'll take a look at the AIM-9X and the joint helmet-mounted cueing system. The Sidewinder can be used on both bore sight mode and slaved to a radar-locked target. I currently have the lesson paused as we discuss some of its features. To select a Sidewinder, press down on the weapon select switch, or press left, shift, and S. Do this now. When selected with no target locked on radar, the Sidewinder will be in bore sight mode. This is indicated by the single reticle on the HUD that indicates the seeker line of sight. Below on the HUD, you will notice the name of the weapon, 9M in this case, and the number of missiles remaining to the right. To employ a Sidewinder in this mode, fly your Hornet to place the reticle over a target and wait for the seeker tone to change to a higher pitch. This indicates the seeker sees and is tracking the target. You could then launch the missile by pulling the trigger or pressing the spacebar. To allow the seeker to self-track the target, press the cage-uncage button on your throttle or press C when you hear the lock tone. Once self-tracking, the seeker will automatically follow the target within its seeker field of regard. Before trying this though, let's first take a closer look at the AIM-9 format page on the left DDI. Press spacebar to continue. As with the AA gun, you have the remaining gun rounds and master arm indications. Along the wing form are indications for AIM-9 loading. 9L indicates stations with AIM-9L, and 9M indicates stations with AIM-9M. The selected station includes an SEL for selected below it. To cycle through AIM-9 stations, press the AIM-9 select switch on the weapon select switch, or press left shift S. This allows you to switch between AIM-9L and AIM-9M versions. When you are ready, press spacebar and I will unpause the lesson. You now have two MiG-29 drone targets ahead of you. Fly to place the reticle over one of them until you hear a higher-pitched lock tone. You can either launch an AIM-9 now by pressing the trigger on the stick or spacebar on the keyboard, or initiate a self-track by pressing the cage-uncage button on the throttle or pressing C. Once self-tracking, launch an AIM-9. It may take more than one to bring down the MiG. Splash 1. Keep an eye on the second MiG-29 and follow it. We will use a radar slave track for that one. Follow the second drone. To lock up the second drone on radar, press up on the sensor select switch or press right alt and semicolon. This will place the radar in air combat maneuvering or ACM mode. Keep following the second drone. When ACM mode is first selected, the bore sight auto acquisition mode is selected. This is indicated by the dashed circle on the HUD. To lock up the target, fly to place the target within the dashed circle and have the target under 10 miles away. Fly to keep the target at about 1 mile to keep the radar locked. On the HUD is a large, solid circle that acts as both the AIM-9 allowable steering order circle and as the normalized in-range display, or node circle. Fly to keep the small steering dot inside the circle to give the missile the best chance of reaching the target. Along the outside of the circle are two triangle node indications. The one at the 6 o'clock position is the missile maximum range, also called RMAX, and the other is the missile minimum range called RMIN. The line inscribing the circle indicates target range, and you want this between RMAX and RMIN to launch the missile. Also on the head is a box or diamond that indicates the line of sight to the locked target, and the smaller circle indicates the aim-line seeker line of sight. If you see a large X across the HUD in radar display, your range to the target is less than the minimum range indication. When the target is between RMAX and RMIN, the steering dot is inside the ASE circle, and the weapon is armed. The shoot cue will appear, and you can launch the missile by pulling the trigger on your stick. Nice job, you downed the second drone. Some final thoughts on using the AIM-9. First, the Seeker can better track a target from behind than in front. Second, if the target is expending flares, it may decoy your missile. Third, the AIM-9 does not have a large warhead, so it may take more than one to bring down a target. Press escape to end the lesson. Today we will perform a Case 1, Case 2 carrier landing. This will be very similar to the VFR field overhead pattern. In fact, Navy pilots land at airfields much like they do on the boat to maintain this perishable skill. In regard to a Case 2 landing, this would be the visual approach element of the landing after being guided in from the Marshall Stack CV-1 approach. Case 1 is defined as having a 3,000-foot minimum cloud ceiling and 5 nautical miles of visibility. For today's lesson though, we are going to keep the aircraft carrier stationary, so we can provide some gates that will assist you in the pattern. Press spacebar to continue. Ahead of you is a series of gates that you will fly through. These are designed to instruct you on where you should be during the pattern. You will start the pattern at 800 feet and 350 knots just starboard of the boat. During this phase of the landing, lower your arrestor hook by moving the arrestor hook handle in the down position. First starting out, we will not break into the pattern until 1.5 nautical miles past the bow of the boat. This will give you plenty of time to get speed in the downwind leg. At the brake, you will make a level turn with the G of 1% of your airspeed. In this case, 3.5 G for 350 knots. As your speed decreases, relax the G to match the speed. You may need to relax or tighten the turn to roll out 1.3 to 1.4 mile abeam the boat. At 180 degrees of turn, level out on the downwind leg and descend to 600 feet. You should be below 250 knots. Once below 250 knots, lower your landing gear and set the flaps to full. Press spacebar to continue. Once on the downwind leg, Establish yourself at 600 feet and slow the aircraft to an on-speed angle of attack of 8.1 degrees. This can most easily be seen on the HUD by keeping the velocity indicator inside the E bracket. To the left of the HUD frame are the angle of attack indexer lights. When on speed, the center donut should be lit. Use of pitch trim is very important to set on-speed AOA. Maintain on-speed angle of attack during the downwind leg. Press spacebar to continue. Once your left wingtip is 5 seconds past the stern, begin a 30-degree bank to the left while keeping your velocity vector just below the horizon line on the HUD. This will place us in a steady rate of turn to the boat while descending. If the boat is moving with 25 to 30 knots of wind over the deck, start your turn when abeam the white of the round down on the stern of the boat. Your descent rate should be 100 to 200 feet per minute, as indicated on the HUD above the altitude box. 90 degrees through this turn, your altitude should be 500 feet. Past 90 degrees of turn, your descent rate should increase to 500 feet per minute. Only use your instruments for the first 90 degrees of turn. Don't peak. Use your throttle to control your rate of turn and pitch trim to control your airspeed. Press spacebar to continue. As you roll out on the landing course line, acquire the improved Fresnel lens optical landing system, or IFLOLs, and match your glide slope such that the center light stays centered between the two green lines. If the light moves above center, you are too high and need to reduce throttle. If the light is below center, you are too low and risk a ramp strike unless you increase power. You will fly to maintain on-speed AOA while keeping the ball centered. Prior to touchdown, do not flare the aircraft, but rather let it fly onto the boat at ideally 750 feet per minute, as indicated above your altitude on the HUD. Press spacebar to continue. Before we give this a whirl, let's first set up the landing course line. Using what you learned in the TACAN lesson, set the TACAN to 74 X-ray and the carrier BRC of 350 degrees. This is the TACAN channel for the carrier, and it will provide us useful information to line up our downwind and final approach legs of the pattern. Set your HUD to show the radar altitude. To give us final notice when we should be passing over the wake of the boat when in the final turn, set the radar altimeter by your right knee to 370 feet by spinning the knob counterclockwise. Finally, set your left DDI to the HUD and your right DDI to the FCS page. Press spacebar to unpause. We are now flying a heading of 352 degrees and 349 knots and 1,900 feet. Fly through the gates ahead, which will place us at 800 feet and offset to the right of the boat. We don't want to directly overfly the boat, so we can first check to see if the deck is foul. Maintain an airspeed of 350 knots. Anytime you approach the carrier with the intent to land, you should do a hail R check, meaning check that the hook is down and engine anti-ice heat if required. Anti-skid switch is off. ILS is boxed on the HSI when ICLS is being used. External lights are set for daytime and rad alt set to the HUD. Cage the velocity vector on the HUD by pressing the Cage Uncage button on the throttle or press C. Lower the arrestor hook by clicking on the lever or pressing H. When at 1.5 miles from the bow, set the throttles to idle and follow the gates for a 180-degree turn into the downwind leg. The rate of turn will be based on a G that is 1% of our airspeed, in this case 3.5 G for 350 knots. Once your airspeed is below 250 knots, lower your landing gear and set the flaps to full. Once on the downwind leg of 173 degrees, establish on-speed AOA of 8.1 degrees by flying to maintain the velocity vector inside the E bracket on the HUD. Use nose up trim and throttle to set on-speed AOA, not your stick. Above the C-cell indication in the bottom right corner of your HSI is your distance from the course line. This should be between 1.3 and 1.4 miles.
Check gear, check gear.
Welcome to Georgia, sir. I've been asked to accompany you on a familiarization flight of the AOR. Here at Viziani, the 492nd Strike Eagles are at the eastern end of the base. We're on the western side. Once you take off, I'll be right behind you, and we'll head west over to Tbilisi.
Chevy 31, Magic 11, Bra 345 490 at 25,000, flanking.
Welcome to Georgia, sir. I've been asked to accompany you on a familiarization flight of the AOR. Here at Viziani, the 492nd Strike Eagles are at the eastern end of the base, and we're on the western side. Once you take off, I'll be right behind you, and we'll head west over to Tbilisi.
Chevy 31, Magic 11, Bra 345 490 at 25,000, flanking.
view is the city of Rustavi, southwest of the capital. Keep heading west. Off your right wing is Sogolong Air Base. They used to build frog puts down there, but now the 52nd Fighter Wings A-10s and F-16s are using it. Further to the north is Tbilisi-Lucchini Airport that our tankers and AWACS are using. We're now over to Tbilisi proper, and the focus of our defensive operations here in Georgia.
Chevy 31, Magic 11, Bra 334, 4100 at 25,000, flanking. Chevy 31, Magic 11, pop-up group 349, 4130 at 3,000, hot. Chevy 31, Magic 11, pop-up group 350, 4120 at 3,000, hot.
Below us is Caspi, and this will serve as a common navigation point for us. Georgia City, south of experiencing navigation south. Team is about 85 clicks to the northwest of us.
Chevy 31, Magic 11, Bra 354, 4100 at 7,000 knots.
Flight, join up.
Now reached the western extent of our flight that is marked by the city of Kashurin below us. We'll backtrack to the northeast behind the FIBA.
Contact bearing 358.70. Must fight, 10 o'clock.
Below us is the western group of Georgian forces. The Russians are just north, so be careful not to stray north, or their C-19s may take a shot at you.
10 o'clock.
We're now over the eastern group of Georgia forces.
Down.
They're
Left
mostly
flank, 10
composed of
o'clock.
older T-72s and BMP-2s. No match with the Russian T-90s and BMP-3s.
Chevy 3-1, Magic
Let's keep
1-1,
heading east and head
Rob
back to base.
337, 470 at 29,000, flanking. Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1, Bra 335, 470 at 29,000, flanking. Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1, Bra 350, 460 at 25,000, 414 at 12,000. Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1, Bra 349, 470 at 25,000, flanking.
3-1, inbound.
Chevy 3-1, Mozani, fly heading 107, Fort 5, QFE 28.34, runway 13, to pattern altitude.
Our base at Viziani
Chevy
is in sight.
3-1.
Go ahead and
Magic
contact
1-1.
the ATC
Bra,
and land.
349,
Nice flying,
470 at 25,000, flanking.
Chevy 3-1, cleared for visual, contact tower.
Chevy 3-1, request landing.
Chevy 3-1, Mozani, cleared to land, runway 13, wind 145 at 4 meters per second. Chevy 3-1, taxi to parking area.
Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1, Bra 335 for 100 at 25,000, flanking. Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1, Bra 311, 490 at 18,000 hot. Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1, Bra 311, 490 at 18,000 hot. Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1, Bra 347, 490 at 25,000 flanking. Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1, Bra 345, 490 at 25,000 flanking. Chevy 3-1,
Chevy
Magic
3-1,
1-1, pop-up
request
group
startup.
344, 130 at 2,500 hot.
Vazani, cleared for startup. Wind 090 at 4 meters per second.
Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1, pop-up group 345, 130 at 2,000 hot.
Chevy 3-1, request taxi to runway.
Chevy 3-1, Vazani, cleared a taxi to runway 13. Rolling.
Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1, pop-up group 343, 130 at 3,000 flanking.
Chevy 3-1, unable to clear for takeoff. Chevy 3-1, Vazani, you are cleared for takeoff when ready. Climb 300 at QFE 28.34.
Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1, pop-up group 340, 130 at 3,000 flanking.
5 o'clock. 3, rolling. Wheels up. 2, rejoin. 4, rolling. 3, wheels up. 3, rejoin. 2, mud spike, 4 o'clock. 4, wheels up. 4, rejoin.
1, airborne.
Magic 1-1. Chevy 3-1. Request picture.
Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1. 3 groups. First group at Bulls 353 418 at 18,000. Additional group at Bullseye 354 460 at 25,000. Additional group at Bulls 355 490 at 8,000.
Magic 1-1. Chevy 3-1. Request picture.
Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1. 3 groups. First group at Bullseye 341 429 at 18,000. Additional group at Bullseye 343 470 at 25,000. Additional group at Bulls 354 480 at 17,000. Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1, Bra 317 460 at 18,000, flanking. Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1, Bra 315 450 at 18,000, hot.
Contact bearing 327.100.
Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1, Bra 314 450 at
Contact bearing 314.45. Contact bearing 32, spike 2 o'clock. 2, spike 2 o'clock.
Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1, Bra 315 440 at 18,000, hot. Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1, Bra 316 440 at 18,000, hot. Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1, Bra 328 490 at 23,000, hot.
flight. Engage bandits.
Colt 1, on station at Bullseye 147 for 24 at 15,000.
engaging bandit. 2, Spike, 12 o'clock. 2, Spike, 11 o'clock. 2, Mud Spike, 11 o'clock. 2, Mud Spike, 12 o'clock. 2, contact bearing 3-4-4, contact bearing
345, 450 at 29,000 knots.
4, splash 1.
Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1.
Spike, 11 o'clock. 2,
450
missile launch, 11 o'clock.
29,000 knots.
2, engage defensive. 3, engaging bandit. 3, down bandit, 1 o'clock.
Magic 1-1.
3, engaging bandit. Engaging bandit. 3, flash 1, mud spike, 8 o'clock. 4, contact bearing 339 for 50. 2, spike, 11 o'clock. 4, contact bearing 339 for 45. 4, missile launch, 12 o'clock.
Chevy 3-1, Magic 1-1.
Fox 3.
444, 450
4, mud spike, 11 o'clock.
15,000 flanking. Chevy 3-1,
Flight. Join up.
3, rejoin. 2, spike, 12 o'clock. Engage defensive. Missile launch, 10 o'clock. 4, missile launch, 8 o'clock. Engaging bandit. 4, engaging bandit. 4, engaging defense. Missile launch, 12 o'clock. 4, engaging bandit. 3, mud spike, 2 o'clock. 4, spike, 5, 4, missile launch, 2 o'clock. 3, engage defensive. Engage defensive. 3, missile launch, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. 3, rejoin. 4, rejoin. 3, splash 1.
Colt 1, pushing from waypoint 3 at 15,000. Colt 1, in from the south, engaging radar at Bullseye 290 for 3.
Flight, go line abreast.
Colt 1, defending radar at Bulls 290 for 3. Colt 1, kill radar at Bulls 290 for 3.
Flight, RTB.
Roger. 2, RTB.
3-1, inbound.
Chevy 3-1, Mozani, fly heading 117, Fort 11, QFE 28.34, runway 13, to pattern altitude. Chevy 3-1, cleared for visual, contact tower.
Chevy 3-1, request landing.
Chevy 3-1, Mozani, cleared to land, runway 13, wind 090, at 4 meters per second.